And hello, everyone. Welcome to Cruise on Kayfabe. I'm Mongo.
I'm Emily.
And we figure we'd just jump on live today and watch the draft, talk about Dynasty, have some debates, because this has been quite a week in wrestling. I mean, holy moly, from some of the best matches we've seen probably in our lives at Dynasty to a crazy angle on Dynamite that led to wrestling being involved in the NFL draft to the current WWE draft happening right now on SmackDown.
It's insane the amount that has really gone on in the wrestling world this past week. I mean, first of all, we should really just talk about the elephant in the room.
I'm trying to lose weight. I just got to get back to the gym, you know.
That's not what I meant. I meant Will fucking Ospreay versus Daniel Bryan. I thought we were going to see somebody's head get kicked in and then mind blown.
Yeah, it was quite interesting to see the chemistry of Brian Danielson and Will Ospreay, because you didn't know what to expect, because I really don't think they've locked up before. I mean, I could be wrong, but I haven't seen.
No, it was a match that Brian's always wanted. Sorry to cut you off, but it was a match that Brian had always wanted. He looked through New Japan and was like, whether I'm here or not, this is really somewhere I'd like to be, and decided this is something I want to be a part of. When he came to AEW, Will Ospreay came to AEW eventually, so now they had their match together.
And it was definitely the craziest thing I've ever seen. I know there was a joke that Meltzer, not joke, but Meltzer gave it 6.5 stars, and everyone leads credence to one person's rating, and then people just post it for engagement. You know, you'll have certain sites who will throw up numbers, and they'll throw up these weird statistics like, oh, this pay-per-view only got this many buys, or this is how Meltzer says it, but who cares? It's your opinion. It's a television show.
Ospreay himself said it is just someone's opinion. If the man getting the most out of his ratings is saying that, then, I mean, that says a lot.
Hey, Sharonica, fellow cruiser. Sharonica and Oscar, such a great time. Getting to meet up with her, having fun at the hotel.
Getting lost at the hotel.
Getting lost at the hotel. You know, meeting up on the cruise, having the time of our life. You know, that's...
Watching wrestling with us.
And that's kind of what makes, to me anyway, it kind of makes our experience when we do these vacations, it connects us, because we get friends for life. You know, we wouldn't have met you, Sharonica, without this page, and a lot of the other cruisers, we wouldn't have met you guys. And it's great because we know two cruisers who were just on our last predictions episode. Jeff and Rachel got to go to Dynasty and experience, I hate to use this word again, the aura, because...
No, that whole show was a vibe.
Moly.
I can't believe it was only a week ago. There's still so much left.
It's insane to think about. Revolution and Dynasty back-to-back are probably some of the craziest pay-per-view runs I've seen in the company.
Speaking of Jeff.
Smokey, Jeff, we got him in the comments. Yeah, it's... I don't even know how to describe it. I know we were talking a little bit, Jeff, about the goosebumps and watching it. I've watched it 3 times now. I'm not ashamed.
Jeff has amazing videos. Seriously, DM this man. I cannot believe the videos that you were able to get in the pictures.
I'll put them up on YouTube, because I know that's one place we can put them up. Facebook definitely likes the copyright strike, so I just like to I like to toe that line, you know, toe that proverbial line. Not trying to get us banned or anything. But can you believe just the chemistry in the ring when they were flipping around, when they both ran, when Daniel Bryan is going for the Busaiku knee, and you had Will Ospreay going for the hidden blade, and they kind of caught each other in midair, and they rotated simultaneously. Sorry, it's a hard word to say. It was this is an action movie. This is like watching The Matrix. The best way I can describe watching that is if you've ever watched The Matrix. When you see Neo and Agent Smith tie it up, it's gravity defying. That's what wrestling is to me. It's everything. Everyone talks about how, well, I like this wrestling back in the 1980s, or I like this wrestling back in the 1990s. I like it too. It's okay to have more than one thing on your plate from a buffet. You don't have to just eat one thing. And if you want to eat the one thing at the buffet, go for it.
I had a regular guest of mine recently tell me that they were watching wrestling when they were flipping through the channels, and they were amazed at what they were seeing because it wasn't any kind of wrestling they'd ever seen before. And I was like, and you've found the exact reason I watch. I was like, that is exactly why I enjoy it. It's almost like watching gymnastics in an action movie put together. It is, again, Chris Statlander being a stunt double. That right there tells you why wrestling is so cool to watch.
It is. And that's why it's so funny when I see all these hate pages online or Twitter, and we know how toxic the IWC can be. We know people just it's a what's the word they always use? It's an echo chamber. It's just an echo chamber of idiots, and it's an echo chamber of bad takes, bad faith takes, people who just want to bait you to get your angry reaction. Like if it's literally like if I was sitting here poking Emily, like I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. Eventually, she's gonna lash out, and you're like, wow, I can't believe you did that.
Wow, guys, Bianca Belair just got drafted to SmackDown.
The EST.
That's awesome. That means she'd go after Becky's title?
Yeah, I think she'd be no, she would go after Bailey.
Okay.
Absolutely, Walter. There's so much
Or the
tribalism
tag titles. Tag titles with Jade. Can we talk about that for a second?
Backlash. They're going for it in a backlash. That'll be interesting.
I think that it would be really awesome to see them get the tag titles because Jade herself is going to be a powerhouse again in WWE, just as she was with AEW.
And Jey Uso's staying live. Sorry to cut you off. He's staying on Raw.
Ooh.
I think to kind of piggyback off your point, there's so much ill contempt for no reason. You know, like what's the point of jumping down someone's throat for no reason or attacking someone? Like to kind of echo what you were saying. It's okay to like companies, but you don't have to stand the three letters. You know, like I talk to Smokey all the time about all these wrestlers that we watch. Like we were literally talking about Ring of Honor wrestlers and New Japan wrestlers. Emily and I have been looking at other promotions, and we're looking at Stardom wrestlers. And there's some breaking news that we're both super happy about. Who just got drafted to SmackDown?
Carmelo Hayes.
He is him. That's right. I'm so excited because we saw him at Limitless. If you check out episode 2 in the archives, cheap plug. We talk about Casanova. Mello. He's so great. Him and Trick Williams' chemistry. Oh, chef's kiss.
NXT's been really fun to watch with those two being like main fronted.
Yeah, wow, and 7 people watching. Thanks, guys, so much. Yeah, we're just talking about Dynasty, the week it's going on, the draft. The draft in WB is going on. Like, it's a great week in wrestling. And Seth freaking Rollins staying on Raw.
That's perfect. I can't wait to see him and Cody continue. Friendship, whatever they decide. We have Money in the Bank soon, too, don't we?
I think that's this summer, July.
Oh, yeah.
I love AEW sometimes. I like to be, it's their interest. It's worth bash. Exactly. Like, it's, you know, and Jeff says it too. I like pro wrestling, not just one company. And I feel the same way. And it's so funny that I know I keep using the cliche, but it's like the Star Wars fans or any other fandom. Like, just let me watch what I watch. Who cares? And now we got Mello coming on SmackDown. This is going to be money.
This is great.
But see, we wouldn't have known him if we didn't go to independent wrestling. We would have discovered him in NXT, but it's kind of like when you discover a band when you're in high school and you discovered a band and then they made it big, you were like you were proud. Some people are cocky as crap about it, but the true fans were proud. Like I remember.
You mean like getting bullied for liking Good Charlotte and then having people apologize to me 2 years later?
Well, Good Charlotte makes great
music.
music.
I was always a nerd, wasn't I?
Hey, but you know what? Now being a nerd's cool.
That's true.
Because guess what? You need us nerds when AI starts taking over things and you don't understand what AI is or other things because somebody damn made the Terminator, what is it? Skynet real now.
Yeah, we're not ready. But yeah, I feel like personally, I kind of follow wrestlers. I don't really follow a brand. I follow more the people that I enjoy watching wrestle because I'll jump around their independent matches on top of like their New Japan stuff. I don't care if I have to watch Ava Everett go to Germany. I'm going to watch her go to Germany.
It's fun. It's kind of like, you know, when you watch the NFL, you know, that's where a lot of this like tribalistic jersey stuff, like I always use this example too. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm going to get some hate for that in the comments. Watching Tom Brady go to Tampa Bay and watching people turn on Tom Brady, it's like, okay, strange take, but that's you. It's kind of like that in wrestling. Just because a wrestler goes from one company to like Matt Hardy got a lot of hate going to TNA, but that was fantastic.
I'm happy for him. I think it's cool that they get to do what they want to do at the end of their like potentially end of their career. I don't want to say that about Matt, but I mean, he's got a family back home.
And then Tony is correct too. Tony is saying that nerds end up running all the important industries. They absolutely do. I mean, nerds are running the cannabis industry too. Like think about who got invested in that. The nerds invested in that. Crypto. Look at all the different things people have made money on using and thinking outside the box, being different. And that's what I love about wrestling is it's different. It's a different art form. It doesn't always have to follow one format. Like I love the cinematicness of WWE. I love that it's like a true TV show with characters and actors, and I'm not meaning that in an insulting term, but when you want a good story, a good in-depth story along, you watch WWE. When I just want to see some really great matches with some story sprinkled in, I like watching AEW. So they're two different formats, two different styles. It's not really apples to apples. It's kind of like apples to kiwis or apples to other fruits because they're different. One's a show about wrestling and one's a wrestling show. That's really what the big difference is.
Yeah. And again, there's nothing wrong with liking either one. And then you've got Impact. It's a little hard sometimes to follow along with because their scheduling is a little different. But I do enjoy keeping up with TNA.
I know, and that TNA Plus is awesome being able to watch the pay-per-views now. And
Dolph is now injured. Ugh.
And hoping you have AEW, if rumors are true, if Warner Brothers really is not going to get the NBA rights, that could be a fast track to Max.
That's a huge, big thing for AEW if this is happening.
Boom. Tony coming in again. There's room for both. Just because you love horror genre doesn't you can't enjoy rom-coms. That's Emily to a T.
That is exactly me.
Emily. That's funny.
And then you give me like scary movies, like the funny scary movies.
Oh, I even liked when they were really stupidly like they made like a Paranormal Effects one. I remember what it was called. It was the worst movie ever.
But they're good.
But it was so funny.
I remember the Twilight spoof.
See why
than I
nerds took over the
remember
cannabis
Twilight.
industry, make those movies entertaining. Judgment-free zone here, it's kind of like
Not another teenage movie?
oh my god, that randomly came on the other day, and Ken was in the living room, and it was the first scene, so I had to quickly change the channel. Because if you don't know the first scene, not another teen movie, it's definitely not one you want to watch in front of family, at least not young family.
Especially not your 10-year-old.
No, still one of the funniest scenes I think in a spoof movie, just especially the ending. But and then obviously not just Will Ospreay's, I would say definitely my top 10 matches of all time. Like I would say another match that really delivered. Can we talk about Samoa Joe and Swerve? I know we're kind of jumping around, but Samoa Joe and Swerve had such great chemistry that it didn't feel like it was Swerve trying to conquer a giant. It felt like Swerve, he had a tough hill to climb, but it was magic, and Joe really helped make that match mean something.
Speaking of long roads to come.
Yes, so Tony Khan is wearing a neck brace, as someone pointed out in the comments, because that was an angle they ran off on Dynamite where, so after the ladder match, which we'll talk about in a second, Jack Perry made his return and helped cost the FTR the titles, so the Young Bucks won. Wanted to get back into Dynamite and said, Tony Khan, I want you to come in the ring, reinstate me, shake my hand. And then he attacked Tony Khan, and then the Bucks ripped their pants, and then what they do?
I can't get over the ripped pants still. I saw that happen live, and I'm like, wait, he ripped his pants. And then they weren't having him, turn around, and I'm like, no, he ripped his pants. I swear they ripped.
I know, and everybody thought they were saying, whoop that Trick. Obviously, congratulations to Trick Williams as well, but they're actually saying, your pants ripped. Your pants ripped. Your pants ripped.
So, yeah, Tony Khan took a...
Yeah, he took a TK driver, used to be called the Melter driver. It's great because the NFL draft was talking about it. On NFL Network, they were talking about it, showing him in the war room. He was selling it with a neck brace. Love it. He was on NFL Network this afternoon talking about it and wearing it. And it's great because the player they drafted in the Jaguars was like, prayers up, hope you get well soon. Like, the cross promotion with the NFL media is so smart. Because I feel like hey, if the wrestling media, doesn't want to really kind of push our stories, if they always want to be opinionated, I'm just going to use the media I know I can kind of integrate with. And I think it's smart because you might get some casuals. Like, why is this dude in a neck brace? Oh, I'm going to go check this out. Oh, this is funny. Because you don't have to sit there and nitpick and critique, but just check it out because maybe some matches aren't for you, but I wouldn't have. I don't think I've ever seen the Lucha Brothers. Sans clips if I didn't watch AEW, and I've got to have seen the Lucha Brothers wrestle and the Young Bucks and all these other talents that now it's on national TV. It's easier for me to watch. I don't have to scramble as much.
Yeah, and also, fun thing, last episode we talked about Kofi Kingston being from Boston and the New England area. And last night he gifted the new draft to the Patriots a WWE belt.
Drake May got a belt from Kofi. Kofi's a huge Pats fan. I think they sent some other wrestlers out with belts, but it was just cool to see Kofi. My non-wrestling friend sent me that video. Tell me that kind of cross appeal. My non-wrestling friend. And speaking of wrestling friends, we have Zach. Hey, Zach, how you doing?
I hope everything's good with the scene.
Exactly, just right. Use the tools at your disposal to promote. And I think that's what's great because, I know people are going to criticize because Tony Khan will go out there and he'll say things. Sometimes he does things that we don't always agree with, but doesn't mean the company's doomed because someone says things out of line. If that was the case, there would be no wrestling companies around because every promoter goes out there and says silly things. He's just under the microscope because there's just a lot of hate towards AEW, and that's fine. If you don't like it, cool. But honestly, I don't care that you don't like it. Just move along. Move along. I mean, this is great. Like watching right now, there's a mixed tag match on SmackDown right now, seeing who's going where, and again, seeing what show we're going to watch because lately it was SmackDown because Cody was the champion. We liked other talents, but I like the different styles. I can see Dragon Lee now, but where is he going to go? Is he going to stay on SmackDown? Is he going to go to Raw? Who's he going to mix it up with now because there's different rosters?
Reel back on skiing.
Who's skiing?
I get what you mean. I get it. I said the same thing, Taryn. Yep.
Oh. Wow. Anyway. All right. Yes. So I get you.
Yeah.
Josh is a little slow here.
I did say the same thing, but also I think that it's great. I think that it is something that gets him noticed, which he does like to do.
Tia, I love you. I love that you just throw it out because sometimes I need that person to tell me what the hell is because sometimes obvious looks me in the face and I look the other way because that's just me. But now since Terrence's in here, I want to talk about Jericho too. I don't understand the hate.
I don't get the hate.
I understand people
don't.
might be sick of him because he's there a lot, but what's getting me is the people who were literally now saying he's no longer the GOAT or he's no longer one of the best. I'm like, because you're seeing him too much, he's no longer the best, or he's annoying. I don't like him. So wait, he's turning heel? Like he's embracing? People are so fickle. It's like they find the next hot trend to jump on. Like, I'm the cool one. I'm going to hate Chris Jericho. But let's look at it from different perspectives. When Hook wins that back, it's going to mean something for Hook, whether people like it or not. When he dethrones Jericho and takes back his belt, or, maybe Taz will interfere because he teased it at Double or Nothing, maybe it's going to mean something. And I just say give Jericho a chance. Give him a chance. Let this story play out.
It is very fickle. Let it play out. I always give the benefit of the doubt to Jericho. Again, he's reinvented himself. We knew it was coming. The learning tree. Curious to see what's going to happen now that Hobbs is injured. I'm not sure how he's going to take lessons. Really disappointed in that too because Hobbs is definitely one of my favorites. Powerhouse.
I know it's such bad timing too because I feel like their storylines were finally intermingling and kind of connecting. The Don Callis family kind of imploding with Will Ospreay teasing his dissension.
Taryn, he's definitely like, every time somebody's like, oh, who's your favorite wrestler of all time? I'm like, Chris Jericho. I don't remember a time that man wasn't wrestling since I've been a fan, just like Rey Mysterio.
And that's the thing. I think some people they like their shiny new toy. Like everyone makes fun of Tony Khan for liking his new wrestler of the week, his shiny new toy. But the problem is a lot of the toxicity comes from the people who want that shiny toy every week, or they don't like things that take a little time to develop or play out. Or, I mean, if everyone jumped off certain storylines with Kenny and Hangman, you wouldn't have seen the payoff. If people jumped off the MJF and He Must Not Be Named storyline, I'm just kidding, CM Punk, that payoff. There's so many storylines that you stick with. Wrestling always You can lay out these great plans. There's always injuries. There's always fan response. There's pivots. I mean, look at WrestleMania. There's pivots. It happens. Just enjoy the ride.
I think that something very important too with Jericho is that he is going to adapt, and he is somebody that is constantly going to be talked about. So him taking that title is a really big deal. As little as it might seem in AEW, that does, elevate that title.
And here's the best part. They're going to Canada starting next week. So they're starting to go on home turf for him. So he can really probably play it up. Who knows what's going to happen with these next couple weeks. And
heel Jericho might be his best work.
heel Jericho is always fantastic. I mean, who didn't love 2009 Jericho wearing the suit, just being a complete dickhead to everyone?
Who didn't like Le Champion?
Exactly. And exactly. And Taryn gets to go live Edmonton. That's going to be a great show. So she's representing for us. I shouldn't say for us, but I mean represent for us real Jericho fans. But I just think that, again, people just latch on to hate or things like that instead of enjoying. Again, we have to enjoy the pay-per-view. Yeah, the Young Bucks won. People don't care for them. I like the Young Bucks. I like this new EVP angle. You're not supposed to like it.
Exactly. I don't have to like it, but I'm here for it. I am ready to watch this play out and get different champions soon.
And now after Tony Khan took all that attack, what happens? And so many people are now finally taking the back turn that
are they going to get fired?
Playing the whole they played the footage. They should have. Now I can see why they played the footage, because it absolutely got Jack Perry over with the AEW fans again. He's never been that over until that footage. And now he's going for the heel heat. They're attacking the company. So now here we go, Mongo tinfoil hat. I'm not gonna put it on, but are we gonna get Hangman, Omega, MJF, and maybe two other people in a blood and gut style feud? Is that where this is leading to?
You're just ready for blood and guts.
The AEW originals versus the new elite, because I kind of feel like that's what it's setting up to.
You're really just ready for blood and guts. I still want to see Hayter and Britt come back and take on a blood and guts match.
I just enjoy chaos. I enjoy those kind of matches, and that's what I think is fun about it. Is the new scramble match they had in Dynamite, where you didn't know what's going on until towards the end, where it was kind of like a battle royal, but it's sudden death. But if you don't beat them quick, a bunch more people come in, so the ring could fill up really quick, and then Ospreay comes out, gets the win. It was a cool concept.
It was cool. I just wish the audio was a little bit better Wednesday night so that we could actually know what was going on. I hope tomorrow night they're able to do that for us.
Ooh, Adam Cole would be a great original. Good job, Rachel. I agree with that. Yes, Tony Crybaby Chris from early WCW. Oh my God, the temper tantrums, the security guard. Oh, that was amazing. See, Taryn agrees that the best gimmick is the suit gimmick. So great. List, that was fantastic. And he reinvents himself, and at first, I was like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really care for the Ocho at first, and then it grew on me. It's his different persona, and I think that seeing all these, I guess, internet trolls just jumping,
trolls,
clinging on the hate. Don't let it ruin your fandom, because I mean, really, who gives a fuck what they say? Who really cares? I'm not going to let some weirdo behind a keyboard that's never seen me, I'll never see them, say, oh, Chris Jericho sucks. Cool. Have a day. Have the day you deserve. I don't care. I'm still going to watch it. I'm still watching, WWE, because I'm curious on the draft, seeing who's going to go where. I still enjoyed watching Dynasty. Even the pre-show, people said the pre-show was bad. I enjoyed seeing the Orange Cassidy drama kind of play out. Where's that going to go?
No, I needed to see that. I needed to know what was going to happen with Orange and Trent. That's important. And
I like the story they're telling long term. First of all, that Chuck finally got to say shit on national television. That's a 5-year story right there. He's wanted to be one of the first people to say shit on TV. He chose his buddy. He chose his true friend. And I'm curious, because they're going to have a parking lot brawl. They're going to have that match tomorrow night
in Jacksonville.
And I just think it's going to be bloody, and I think it's going to really show where this could go, and how does Orange Cassidy fit in? Is he going to want to choose sides?
Well, I thought the side was already chosen.
Well, I mean, but after the match, what's going to who is someone's oh, I'm going to take this person out? Is it going to be one of those Sophie's Choice moments where he doesn't want to see
Sue is going to take Chuck out. Sue's coming in to
take Chuck out. You just want to see Sue get run over, remember?
No, other way around. I want to see Sue take somebody out with a car, and I think she could easily pop open her car door on somebody.
No, I know, and I also think too, just seeing the. I agree with you. The Fozzy sucks chants were unwarranted. No, I agree. That's just
The band does not deserve it. The band is not part of AEW.
Exactly. See, Jeff's coming back. She wants to see Sue run over someone.
Yeah, I do actually.
You want to see her wanted to see her take a bump too.
With Chris though, somebody that's like trained for stunt.
She's like, I want Grandma to take a bump.
Again, listen, guys. Chris Statlander is a stunt double. She could easily get hit by a car safely.
Grandma got run over by a golf cart.
She would know how to take the hit.
Walking out because of Emily.
We've seen Orange pop out of trunks before.
Maybe Sue pops out of a trunk and has a lead pipe. Bam! That would be interesting. But I think that's what's fun and how these kind of stories connected. Now you have Ospreay going against Roderick Strong at Double or Nothing for the international championship. Which, think about it, he wants to go to Soft Ground, so we're more international title than taking that. Like, how cool would that be? Or he goes back to Rev Pro with that title. That would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool. You know what else I'm enjoying watching?
What's that?
Mystery wrestling on TikTok with usually Evil Uno and Colt Cabana.
I haven't even heard of that.
They commentate over wrestling matches, or is it Ethan Page and Evil Uno? It's two wrestlers. Evil Uno is usually one of them, and the commentary is freaking hilarious. Highly recommend watching. Might be on more than just TikTok, but I scroll.
No, it's just like when there's different kind of content out there. Like, I didn't know that existed, and I was always curious to see what styles are kind of still left to run, because you have the death matches, you have cinematic, you have mystery, we have cosplay wrestling, we have wrestling on a cruise ship, and we go on the Jericho cruise. Yes, Mystery Science Theater. That's a great reference. You've had completely cinematic. You've had Matt Cardona and EC3 had a full on cinematic movie match where the whole thing was ridiculous. So what's left? That's what's cool whenever something's new in wrestling. It's because you feel like everything's been done.
Yeah. So there was a incident that happened a few weeks ago. My son fell outside and got all scuffed up. And I was like, what were you running from? And it was basically something invisible. It was really funny. And I was like, did you know Bryce actually refereed 2 invisible wrestlers? And that night I showed him that match and he did not stop laughing. It was so great to be able to watch that back with him, and I didn't realize it was actually on the anniversary of the match.
I think Joey Janelle, they had the pandemic match where they were 6 feet apart. That was quite interesting too.
Yeah, I just feel like some of those are needed sometimes. A good comedic wrestling.
Oh, Cody Rhodes versus Carmelo Hayes tonight on SmackDown. That should be interesting. And you know what they say, Hayes doesn't miss. Carmelo don't miss.
Jamal, we didn't know we'd be live until about 7:30.
We figured we'd pop on because there's a lot going on. Just figured, kind of watch wrestling, watch SmackDown. We got Braun Breaker coming out to the ring, which love seeing him get his push.
SmackDown? Is he drafted?
He hasn't been announced yet.
Still available.
And then what other matches did you like from Dynasty?
Obviously, Tony.
Timeless Tony versus Thunder. That really showed Tony's skills in the ring and promos. Those promos before and after. Whew.
I think that everything that she's been doing has been really great. Seeing Deanna run out and mess with the match has been great. Willow winning over Julia Hart. I think it just put everything into perspective. I don't think there was a bad match, honestly. I can't remember them all, but I don't think there was a bad match.
No, I don't really think there was a bad match on the card either. And I know Dynamite got some hate, but
it was just the audio, honestly.
Hey, there you go. You just got some points in the Wrestling Fans League because Braun Breaker just got a squash over Cedric Alexander.
Wait, the match is already over? We just said he came out.
Yeah, it was a squash. He went for a finish and spear.
Cedric doesn't deserve that.
Can we also point out that who hasn't turned on Rey Mysterio at this point? Because we saw Carlita earlier tonight turn on Rey Mysterio. Who hasn't?
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Pac versus Okada. Again, I cannot stand that man, but Pac is amazing in the ring.
She can't stand Pac. She loves Okada.
Yes, amazing in the ring though. Everything he's able to do and accomplish is wonderful to see. He's my definition of a great wrestler. Just not a great human.
I enjoyed the match a lot. It's crazy that it opened the show, and I think that's almost why you not forget, but like everything was so good. And I think that's the issue is AEW has the bar so high that if you have a bad match, it's hard to it kind of not disappears. Or if you have a match that maybe as it's basically what I'm trying to say without stuttering through is they set the bar so high that that one little mistake could derail it. But I don't really remember anything. I was like, oh, that sucked or that was boring. Like you said, Julia not really getting enough time. But again, like you said, exactly the injury. I just think the stories are building off, leading to Double or Nothing. I mean, again, they're going back to back pay per view, so they'll have Dynasty, Double or Nothing, and Forbidden Door like a 3 month. That's a crazy cram of pay per views. So we're gonna see some shifting in stories, and we also got to talk about Malachi pinning Adam Copeland.
That's going to be really huge. I think that's going to be detrimental to Copeland eventually. But judging by Unrestricted this week, I think that he has a long story planned out with the Copeland challenge.
The
Open
Cope
challenge?
The Cope
Yeah.
Open.
So I think that's going to go on for a little bit longer because he's excited to introduce new talent to AEW as well. He wants to bring in smaller names that haven't been heard of by everybody.
And
maybe we'll see Michael.
Here's what I'm thinking. So I posted it earlier, but I'm going to put it out here because I'm going to get made fun of live, So he got misted before Malachi beat him. Malachi's obviously indicated he wants that title from Copeland. I think he does take it, and here's why. I think Copeland starts to turn. He's going to get Christian to side with him for one night only, and I think they're going to call an old friend David, a.k.a. Gangrel. I think one night only we get the Brood versus the House of Black. And I think that match would be that would be so fun. Such a great callback. Such a fun match. It would be so entertaining. And it would mix both like the nostalgia and like it could help elevate the House of Black to the next level.
But what if it's not that though? Because aside from Willow, like look at what happened with Sky. She's gone towards the House of Black. So do we see Copeland start to go towards the House of Black instead of what you're thinking is like they're going to go opposite. What I'm thinking is that they're going to go 4.
I mean, I think so. I think that they could lean towards it, but I think somehow we're going to get the Brood. I think Wembley Stadium, we get Brood.
So how do you get the two of them together from here and then?
Because I think eventually it's the enemy of my enemy. So I think when Christian comes back, he gets tangled up with the House of Black. And I think it's the enemy of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, because the thing is, or is my so, it's Sung Soo. You take them in with you. So he's gonna take Christian, even though he kind of betrayed him. He's gonna say I have to side with him now. I need his help, and they're gonna need more help. And they're gonna need a third person, and they're gonna bring him in. And that's how I think it could play out. And imagine having that at Wembley. That map, the aesthetics and that pop would be legendary. That would be a great last time for us. What a moment for Christian. What a moment for Gangrel. What a moment for Edge to kind of get like that last big hurrah.
Exactly, Johnny. You get it.
Yes, so they can give the House of Black, who are they do misting and they do more spooky stuff, John. So the Brood could totally do a bloodbath at Wembley because they could put it under that tarp.
Well, Jamal was there. Jamal, do you think that they could set that up where they would have the bloodbath come down? You were actually like there to see the setup.
Yeah, Jamal was live. Lucky some. I'm just kidding.
One day.
One day, maybe 2025. We're going to manifest this.
I want to point out with this draft going on WWE SmackDown, we just saw Michelle McCool and...
I didn't see who that was.
I didn't see who else it was. But I saw Michelle McCool come out, and it looked like they had cards on who they were going to be announcing. Jamal thinks they could do it.
I think so. I think it could be interesting to see Jamal. I know Jamal would be down for it, but what do you guys think? Like, can you imagine seeing the Brood for one night only? How cool that would be! Like, look, I get it. Nostalgia shouldn't be the end all be all, but
it's wrestling.
Come on, it's wrestling. There's always nostalgia. I mean, George South's still going down here, and he's got to be pushing 80. The Boogie Woogie Man's still wrestling. Jimmy Valiant, he's got to be pushing like 70. So like, some people just don't give it up. So it's like
we saw Honky Tonk Man.
Unfortunately, I still say Uncle Jesse's the all-time best Elvis impersonator, and that Honky Tonk Man's like fourth. I was just gonna say, yeah. Shout out to Taryn, shout out to Cruz Kane, aka Josh and Dez. Taryn coming up with the idea, and Josh planning it and doing all the the gangrels on the top deck 13. That was amazing. And then because of the love, he got to come on the cruise the following year. Like shout out to TDS Taryn Dez show because they made that happen. Taryn made that happen, and Josh was able to plan it. So shout out to you guys because that was fantastic. I was just cool to be a fly on the wall in that photo.
And Jeff got to take the picture.
That's right, Jamal. Jamal was roasting me because I wanted that at Mania 39 too.
Yeah, you just wanted the Brood.
Listen, the Brood. I'm gonna say it right now. Let's see, 8:49 Eastern Time on April 26th. The Brood's theme song is top 3 all time. The Brood's theme song is top 3. Tell me if I'm right in the comments. Let me know if the Brood's theme song. Give fire emoji. The Brood's theme song is top 3 all time. I'm telling you.
Shawn Michaels.
Oh, I'm not gonna rate them all right now. I'm just saying Brood's definitely top
Edge.
3. That song was a banger. Like when you heard that, you knew shit was gonna go down. Harry, like that creepy, and then just like the freaking orchestra hitting, and then they raising up to the
Tori
fire.
Wilson. I wanted to say Tori Wilson, but I didn't want to be wrong.
Oh, on the draft.
Yeah, again, I didn't watch during their time.
So
I
they're
apologize.
announcing the next picks.
I know Michelle McCool more for her.
I guess the Brood wasn't a banger like I
After
thought it
stuff.
was, because I'm telling you, the Brood theme song was a banger. Like Jim Johnston was the man for WWF theme songs, WWE theme songs.
He was the downstate of the 90s and 2000s.
Compare him downstate's kind of he was more than that. He was a lot more than that. Not a shot downstate at all. I would say. And then you had CFO $, but they broke up, and then now you have Def Rebel, which is just destroying it. And speaking of destroying it, Randy Orton is now going to go to SmackDown to tear it up. That's going to be fantastic.
Him and Carmelo.
I just can't believe Melo's going to be first Cody. That's so cool.
That is exciting.
See, Jeff agrees with me that Jim Johnson's king of the intros. Randy Orton.
Braun Breaker has
Braun
been
Breaker going to
drafted
Raw.
So that's good. We've got Mello going to SmackDown, Braun going to Raw.
Which is good because they already had their rivalry. Kind of keep them separated so they don't have to repeat that. Oh, run that back.
Yeah.
But run back the Brood. I'm not giving that dream up. Because you know what? When that happens, guess who's going to have a smile on their face? Not only because it's happening, but I get to post this video clip that, see, my tinfoil hat's come true. And the theme song's still fire. Oh, look, Bully Ray. The impartial Bully Ray's in the draft room. I'm not biased, Billy. That's funny. I don't really care. I just think it's funny. Here comes the next draft pick. SmackDown goes to Nia Jax. Why didn't she get a graphic? Oh, she does now. Like that's kind of a shot in the face. It's gonna break someone's nose.
I was just going to say, shot in the face. She's very well known for that. But then again, she did really help elevate
With Becky Lynch, so we don't get canceled. There's a lot of tinfoil in this episode. Jeff, tinfoil is the best. Weird Al Yankovic wrote a song, Aluminum Foil. I mean, it's
Mongo
versatile.
just lives it.
Listen, it's one of the most versatile things out there. Jamal, they're not going to take the brand split seriously because, like, in 6 weeks, someone's going to go. It's hard. Liv Morgan's going to Raw, though. Or staying on Raw, I should say. It's hard. I don't have faith in the brand splits just because storylines kind of need to be fleshed out and finished. So it's hard to build, but we'll see. So round 2 is Orton to SmackDown, Breaker to Raw, Nia Jax to SmackDown, and Liv Morgan to Raw.
I think that's a good thought process, though, with Liv Morgan staying on Raw or wherever
So does
she
that mean
was.
the Judgment Day is going to stay on Raw? Because they're currently... She's trying to take Dom. People want the Rhea versus Liv when she comes back in a ladder match. Custody for Dominic match.
You know what? Maybe we see that at Mania next year because we don't know
my
how
God, that'd
long
be
the
funny.
injuries are going to be. Dom might be out for at least 9 months.
I agree, Jamal, but it's one of those I'll believe it when I see it mentality. But, hey, Jamal, you want some good news? Vince McMahon has sold off all his stock, so as of today, he's been promoted to just fan.
Just a fan. Just one of us.
He no longer has any control, any power, any say. May he rot in hell. See you later and goodbye one day. Vince McMahon is no longer part of WB. Thank the good Lord above.
It's kind of crazy to think about that, though. He did create it. I'm going to give him that.
Oh, no doubt. You can't take away what he created in the company and the monster it is. But he's a piece of dog shit, and he can,
Thank you for the business.
thank you, fuck you, goodbye. Like I'll say, I don't care. I know, and it's just nice because we know that we can get an untainted version, and right now wrestling is just so hot, and it's so
fresh.
It's fun. Like, I enjoy talking about it. That's why I don't really care about other people's opinions when they're downing it, because you know what? I'm still enjoying it. You can tell me you don't like something 100 times till you're blue in the face. Guess what? I don't care. I'm still going to watch it.
I saw something earlier this week, and somebody had said, what is your favorite response when someone says wrestling is fake?
Shout out to Friends of the Squared Circle.
Yeah, I personally say the injuries aren't.
And
you can't fake getting hit with a chair.
Basically, you can't fake gravity. That's what you say, too.
Yeah, like, there's certain things that you just can't fake.
I always just say you watch movies just because something's choreographed, real injuries happen. Except instead of in a movie where they try to limit the damage and have crash pads, there's no crash pads. It's basically 2x4s, metal, and some springs. Good luck faking that. Yeah, Vince. It's regardless of personal. It's insane to think that the only man in WWE right now is Stephanie. If rumors are true, she's back. But I think it helps because it can kind of wash some of the stigma because...
Well, it's also rumored that Nick Khan is selling his stocks as well, which is even more confusing as to why they would both sell stock because...
And I don't want to speculate, but...
Yeah, I don't want to put a bunch of speculation out, but there's tons of speculation.
Something's going on behind the scenes. I just hope it doesn't affect the on-screen product.
Just Google
it.
The
livelihoods of the talent. That's what I just want to make sure the talent's going to be fine. At the end of the day... Business is business. They can do what they got to do. They can fire, hire, let go. I just want to make sure that talent that go out there aren't going to be screwed over, aren't going to be shafted.
Can we also talk about what the government put into place that does affect the wrestling industry?
Well, we don't know fully if it does yet because of how the contract's written, but it could, yes. So the Federal Trade Commission, it'll take about 120 days, I believe they said, from posting, has voted 3-2 that non-compete clauses aren't going to be allowed for labor law. So that potentially could mean within 120 days, anyone who had non-compete could be void if it met certain conditions, and all non-competes going forward could be void. So it's interesting because that will really help with the wrestling industry because they are independent contractors at the end of the day. And you shouldn't hold them to the same standards, and I'll get off my horse, I won't stay on this too long, that a contracted employee, like a full-time employee would have without giving them the same benefits that job does. And you can say what you want, but then holding them to a non-compete to cool them down, like the purpose of it really wasn't business, it was more of a cooling off period. So just know that might be gone is awesome because AEW doesn't do them and TNA really doesn't do them. So it's nice that wrestlers, if they get released from a company, can go still work, can go promote themselves. Not be able to promote yourself or announce bookings for 9 days, kind of shitty. At least let them promote themselves. Maybe not work, but at least let them say, "Hey, here's where I'm going."
Destination. Although I will say the mystery of wondering after that 90 days is up is always exciting as well. But it would be better if we didn't have to wait the 90 days. Like, say somebody got fired today, and then tomorrow they show up on Collision.
Can you imagine, like, the Rick Rude scenarios that could happen? And that's essentially why they were put in place, so that stuff doesn't happen, too. But can you imagine some of the modern day, like think of, like, the Royal Rumble. Like, someone wrestles, like, the night before in AEW, the next night they're on the Rumble. They're like, what the hell? Like, it would definitely... You could get some of those outsiders, like, old-school outsider storyline going where, like, are they really supposed to be here? Like, that's what made Kevin Nash and Hall interesting in WCW. Not that they weren't talented, but
the invasions and
were they supposed to be here? Like, they work and they sold it beautifully. They work for Stanford. They didn't say WWF, but like they work for Stanford, and they wouldn't use any kayfabe names. They were using their real names, and you didn't have the internet to ruin it. So you watched it, and you were still like, "Why is Razor Ramon and Kevin and Diesel, why are they in WCW? And that's why that NW works. So anytime you can blend reality with wrestling, as long as it's done in the right way, it's fun. So like that's why like going back to the draft, like seeing Tony Khan at the end of the draft, Emily could care less about football, y'all. I was watching because I wanted to see who
I tried so hard to stay awake.
She wanted to stay up to watch to see if Tony Khan would sell the gimmick, and my man, he did it. He had the neck brace, and we always say keep the kayfabe, and Tony Khan kept the kayfabe.
I was very proud. Okay, almost. He almost kept it. Some people are nitpicking, but I think he pretty much kept it.
Some people would complain that if you give him $1 million, it's not two, so people are never happy.
Yeah, just because it's like this, and he's going like this.
Yeah, listen, the fact that he did it in the NFL draft, the fact that the NFL draft was acknowledging AEW is fantastic, like we said earlier.
They could have been like, bro, get that shit off.
Right, they could have said, no, we're not playing that hokey shit here. But what I really like is you have these different stories. You get to tune in for these different stories, these different matches, and what's to say I'm not enjoying like this? Watching SmackDown, watching the see what's I can't wait to see Mello again versus Cody. I can't wait to see what kind of storylines they have with Randy Orton and Mello, like what they're gonna do, and that's what's fantastic is I don't have to be loyal. I can watch what I want to fucking watch. And
does
nowadays,
Braun Breaker continue his winning streak?
I hope so for your
I
points.
really hope so. I could use that.
Tiffany Stratton, could she dethrone Bailey already?
Honestly, it's Tiffy time. I'm ready for
time?
it.
Jamal thinks it's Tiffy time.
I think that something cool about Tiffany Stratton is that she's very, very athletic, and her versus Bailey, gold. Do I want that quite yet? No, because there's still things to be done with damage control. But I'm here for Tiffany Stratton's push. I'm excited to see it. And KO is pissed.
No, I think they're handling the draft fantastic right now. I think they're like building the brands. Triple H was talking earlier about how he wants to shake up, make sure each brand gets a little bit of each. He didn't say flavor, but he was kind of hinting like each style, and that's good because you don't want like all the high flyers on SmackDown and all like the big strong guys and strong gals on Raw. You want to see it mixed up. Otherwise, you're like, well, I'm just gonna watch this.
Just realizing Backlash is in France and it's not at night.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be like probably 1 o'clock show.
That's I think what it just said.
Jamal says it's a little too yeah.
It is too soon, but that's why I think Damage Control is gonna do some stuff.
I'm gonna ask you, what are your thoughts on that? Like basically the core four. So you know what I mean by the big four: SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania. So obviously they're staying stateside. What are your thoughts on the B shows? And I don't mean that insulting, but like the other pay-per-views going international.
The Rumble wasn't.
Well, that's part of the big four. So like you had Elimination Chamber in Australia.
That's what I mean. Okay, so Elimination Chamber is really ideal.
You have Clash of the Castle.
Elimination Chamber goes hand in hand with WrestleMania. So not having that at nighttime for us in the US, I thought was kind of a miss. But then again, we're not the only fans, so we do need to give back and remember that
they get to enjoy an 8 o'clock start for them.
Yeah, so it is hard sometimes to realize that we aren't the only fan base in the United States.
Shout out to Haley and Oliver, who I know Oliver is super pumped to get to watch a show at normal time.
Yeah, like I understand that completely. I'm sure everybody else was very excited. However, I was at work. So that part sucks.
Oh, here comes Jade Cargill on SmackDown because they're confronting the tag champions. Oh, look at that gear. Wow. It's got like colorful broken glass in it.
I just like that she kept that broken glass. I'll say it over and over again. Jade's
new tag
gear
champs
is
right
always
here.
On top.
Bianca and Jade are win the titles at Backlash. I'm going to call it way too early prediction. I think that's how you get Jade her mega push. You give her a belt.
They have to. They really have to.
Make them mean something. Not that they really don't, but lost prestige.
Yeah, and I think Bianca's coming back from another fitness contest, so her and Jade are perfect together.
Jamal, well said. WWE is finally putting the world and World Wrestling Entertainment. It's time to get exactly. That's why I think like I can't wait to see France. Oh, you got Solo and KO going to the ring. But
yeah, like Clash at the Castle. Like it was nice to hear another fan base.
I can't wait to hear France because they're rabid too, and also being a French guy myself, you know, let's fucking go. You know.
This I'm gonna sound real stupid for a hot second here. Do they mainly speak French? Obviously. So
That
how
is their
does
first
that
language,
affect?
yes.
How is that going to affect WWE? Are they
It
going to
won't.
have like commentators that are French?
Well, so
Do
yes,
they
they
already
have.
do
They
that?
already yes, they already have all the international commentators. And they can simulcast. It means they can have another company like hear it and then translate it with a delay.
Okay.
So yes, they already did it. So like they have the German. They usually introduce them. It's like they have the German announce team, they have the French announce team, they have the Spanish.
I know about the Spanish one because the table just does not get enough love.
The Spanish announce table should be in the Hall of Fame. That should be the only gimmick. Like they should, if they ever do gimmick, the Spanish announce table should be in the Hall of Fame. That thing was broken more than Matt Hardy and TNA.
So far.
So you got Randy Orton attacking Solo. Solo's trying to avoid it, but so it looks like they're getting that story set up. So the new Bloodline Civil War kind of part 2. So that's another interesting. So speaking of like Blood and Guts, you have War Games with so it'll be Team Roman versus Team Solo, obviously. Seems like they're setting that up, but that's what London for WrestleMania. Yeah, they were teasing that, but Nick Khan Jamal, only thing I'm worried about is he said on ESPN the other day that he wants to see Mania kind of stay in like NFL stadiums. They're trying to hit like NFL and MLB stadiums locally right now. So I think the first one I think they'll do Royal Rumble. I think Royal Rumble will be one of the first ones they do internationally because they already tested it out with the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi. I bet they could do the Royal Rumble in somewhere like London and it would sell out instantly and be loud.
Okay, Ring of Honor wise, do KO and Tonga have heat from like previous companies?
Kind of, but they didn't. They kind of.
I know they're not going to say it. I'm just curious if it did happen.
Small little bit. I don't think it was incidental.
Okay.
Because it was kind of like he came in as Kevin Owens was going to WB. Oh look, Bully Ray, who's completely unbiased, not collecting a paycheck from the
right, Jeff. Oh, both of them.
Yep. Now there's Diva. Yeah. So Jeff, here's what's great about that. MVP. Now the Dudley Boys is like Rey Mysterio left the first cruise and went to WB. So it's like WB's like, oh yeah, that's right. They're popular again. Yoink.
Rey Mysterio's never not popular. He's literally been wrestling since I've been watching.
I don't know too many people who don't like Rey Mysterio. Like that's one of those wrestlers that's like. That would be a fun episode, dude, but I don't think I could do it. I know AJ wants to. The Mount Rushmore wrestlers who just everyone likes because there's it's so hard. But like Rey Mysterio, I feel like it's on that Mount Rushmore.
Stone Cold.
That nobody really hates. Oh, there's some Stone Cold haters.
How? He is literally like
because people take personal stuff and mix it into character.
Oh my god, he beat up his boss. Who doesn't want to do that from time to time?
I'll tell you off air. I don't want to get into it.
Okay, well, anyways, he beat up his boss. Like that's so relatable. I like mine.
And that's.
Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I know. And I'll tell you off air because again, that's a lot of stuff's alleged too, so I don't want to like put things out in the stratosphere. But I'm also thinking too. What's crazy about this whole switching back to EW to finish that off is
Jeff can replace me for that episode.
What do you think
Boys' night.
What do you think of like Double or Nothing kind of already setting up strong with Ospreay and Roddy, Mercedes and Willow, and there was another one, and then Swerve's going out to his on Saturday. So it seems like they're setting it up and they're kind of still blending storylines. You know, Jericho's going to have his match with Hook probably. Who are the Young Bucks going to face? And is Jack Perry going to be the one that somehow steal? Whose title is he going to steal? Because all the elites got gold but him. I don't think the TNT.
TV. No,
yeah. Oh, what if he takes the FTW back?
Ooh, that wouldn't be bad. He's already had it before.
Ooh, Jeff's got a great idea for a future episode.
Not me. I can't pick. I'm like the worst person for that. I like too many people. Mongo asked me to pick 3 people for our next episode, and I still have 4.
I know. Say, well, they'll give him a little teaser about what we're going to do next episode.
So next episode, we are going to cover up-and-coming talent that, you know, they're talked about right now, but what do you know about them? Do you know their history? Do you know where they've been? Do you know their finishers? Because
who I think is going to kind of be elevated to the next level.
Yeah, like the next group of talent to be pushed up across companies.
Can I give one hint? Whoop that trick.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's another great thing. Like,
Make that 5 names I have. I'm
oh,
gonna have
we
some
should have
bonuses.
we should have a total of 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a bonus.
Well, it's all right
2.
because I went a little extra for mine too. But no, and I think that's what is fun too because it reminds me of why I love wrestling and why I love watching it, and it's really cool to just see how the draft's shaking up, and I can't wait to see how Collision is tomorrow with what Swerve going to say in his promo. Who's going to be our challenger? Can we talk about the grizzled young vets coming in to take on the Acclaimed?
But Max Caster is apparently
So
suspended.
he tweeted out or replied to someone saying I'm suspended, but then he's promoting this match. So I don't get it.
We'll find out
So
tomorrow.
as we know, the match is on. However, here's something, and I know Jeff will agree with me. Grizzled young vets versus Aussie Open, please. Grizzled young vets versus Aussie Open, please inject that into my veins. Yeah, Jeff agrees.
I don't know anything about them yet, so I'm excited to see them and learn more about
Outrunners versus Grizzled young vets would be phenomenal. It'd be so fun. The Outrunners too.
them. Where have they been, Jeff?
Jamal,
they
I'd
on
love to
Ring of
do
Honor?
that, but that would have. I'll make you come on that. Jack, I'll make you come on that episode, Jamal, if we do the titles, because I need your input, because I'll be too biased, because I already know what my favorite title is.
I already have my favorite, but it's a personal favorite, not like a favorite of everybody.
But yeah, I feel like the match I know Jeff would really want is Outrunners versus Grizzled Young Vets, which I would love that match. But then Grizzled Young Vets versus Aussie Open. That's one thing is, look what they're doing to this division. We have the Grizzled Young Vets. We have Motor City Machine Guns coming in.
Sorry, I'm real enthused by these Dudley boys.
Yeah, they're coming up to make the next pick. So let's see who they're picking for each brand.
They gotta
He
make
said
it
he
about
can't read.
themselves
He
first.
just told Devon he can't read, and he threw the card to him. He's just shaking his head. Bubba's like, I can't read. Oh, they're getting out the cheaters. Way to make me feel old.
Do you still feel old? Look at their cheaters.
Oh, okay. I feel better now. So let's see.
They gotta make it about them. It's fine.
No,
it's Bubba.
they're just reading it with the first pick of the 3rd round. WB draft. Come on, just LA Knight's staying on SmackDown. Yeah. Hey Jamal, whose game is it? So that's great because that kind of keeps his hopefully momentum going. Because I think SmackDown's the place for him. Oh, here we go. I really want to see him kind of break through this year a little more. I think now that the strap is off Roman, I think that could be good for LA Knight. I think he can. Oh, we could get LA Knight versus Carmelo. That would be great.
I love how we're just putting him and Braun up against the entire roster, like dream matches.
I love it. Yeah, yes. Jamal SmackDown it's been the A show for years. It truly is. I hope AJ's staying. I think. Oh, Ricochet stays on Raw. I wonder if that means Samantha Irvin's doing double duty again, or she's staying on Raw.
Maybe they pick up Dasha. I heard she's a free agent.
I know it's super interesting how like NXT's involved. Like I'm curious, they haven't had any NXT call ups yet. So besides Carmelo, so like who are we gonna get next? Because they don't want to poach NXT because you don't want to take everything from that and have them rebuild again because they need to keep some top Carls.
Well, the Bloodline is SmackDown.
So who's let's see who the picture is to show who the Bloodline is. Is it Jimmy and Jimmy's kicked out, so who is it? So it's okay, so it's Solo, Tonga, and Heyman. MFT, which do we even know what MFT stands for? Is it my favorite Tongan? Is it my fucking tough guy? Like anyone know what MFT is? Thanks, Jeff. To have a solo call. Okay, I was gonna say Sheamus to Raw as well. Which is good. Also, how fucked up was it that like Sheamus got fat shamed, like on his debut? Like the dude had a neck injury, and you got people out here like looking like me, looking like they probably ate 16 burgers. Or like, I can't believe how out of shape Sheamus is. Like, bro, did you type that? Like, really? He just had a neck injury, and like he's getting in shape. Like that's kind of a fucking dick move.
And he got the call that he was cleared before he was expecting it. So he wasn't ready mentally to come back. He was planning on doing some rehabbing and planning on doing more work. And then he got the call that he was cleared and he was excited to get back in the ring.
It's always so
Can't
weird.
fault the man.
It's always so weird how people latch on to the weirdest stuff. Like, I don't get it. Like, there was one where Tiffany Stratton, like, somebody was like, only she can wear pink. Like, other, like, Mariah May can't wear pink. Like, what?
Listen, my girl Mariah, she's going to wear pink.
Wear whatever the hell you want. Like we said earlier, nothing's really original in wrestling. Nothing's really new. If guaranteed, there's always that one person. It reminds me of, I don't know who South Park fans out there, but when Butters' friend was always like, Simpsons did it. I always think there's always those wrestling fans that are like, Simpsons did it. Oh, but that show, WB did it. Simpsons did it. It's like, cool. Like, shut up. That always drive me nuts. So you got Bailey watching Tiffy here, and Tiffy's probably hopefully going to squash, get you some more points in Fantasy League. Check that out if everyone hasn't. We did an episode a few episodes back with Rob and Sue, excuse me, thank you, from the Wrestling Fantasy Football League, WFL. We have about, 4 weeks to go before the season's over?
Yeah, and we were going, now we're going.
Listen, I've been straddling 20th place forever. You know, like, I didn't even win my playing game. I'm kind of like Steph Curry.
I thought they had a match 2 weeks ago.
I think they did. I don't remember last. Naomi and
Naomi
Tiffy.
won, I believe.
Isn't it a triple threat at Backlash, I believe? So maybe they're kind of doing the, like, weaker, make the champion watch where they, like, her competition thing. I like that actually, without her horrible new entrance theme song, thanks a lot, Def Rebel, the entrance looks a lot better. So you could, like, Photoshop her real music over.
Yeah, I missed the air horn.
I miss when the theme songs were bangers, not Def Rebel going, let's take the entrance music, let's make sure we announce and spell out their name or announce their name every single time and have some awful EDM house music because they want to get rid of all the old music for licensing. There's just no thought and originality to it. So, like, Randy Orton literally was going to get a new one. A winner gets Bailey at Backlash. Thank you, Jamal. I was going to say, I didn't know if it was a triple threat.
We don't have the sound on for copyright reasons, so we're just kind of watching and reading. But the words go real quick.
I saw the graphic earlier, so I thought it was a triple threat. But I'm glad they're at least showcasing the women's division. It's nice to see.
That gear is so Lisa Frank. It's amazing.
Oh, if we just waited no more in contenders match, I would have been fine. But still, Jamal's got our back. Appreciate you. I also really, really enjoy that they're showcasing more of the women of WWE because, like, I feel like they're finally listening to fans. Like, AEW's women's division is finally getting better. WWE's women's division is finally getting better. They're finding the right mix. They're finding the right storylines, challengers, because that's how you're going to draw in some, more fans. Emily wouldn't watch if there's not, because after a while she's like, okay, cool, but where's Chelsea or where's this person? And it's fair.
We didn't
like
have Chelsea for like 6 weeks.
And I'm just glad that they're finally listening to the fans and you're getting the matches that you want to see. There's nothing wrong with, rotating wrestlers in now, giving some people some time off, showcasing new ones, because then it gets you to tune in. That's why our fantasy points are so low, because we had wrestlers and they all took a break and it made us realize if you do it just right, you can rotate them in and out of storylines. Like, one of my wrestlers was in promos for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, and speaking of like storylines and promos, I do want to go back to AEW and discuss like the fact that you have so many storylines that can take place with MJF coming back. So we're just awaiting the MJF storylines to come back through. We don't know where he's going to start.
Yeah, I know. It's so mixed up now. It definitely hasn't
It
been.
was, Jamal. It was before and after Mania. Chelsea was doing house shows. I saw her on socials.
I'm really curious to see how it shapes up for SummerSlam, because you have the Miz and Logan Paul and Gargano, who are all natives. It seems like they're teasing DIY breaking up again with Ciampa and Gargano, which they're not going to be able to recreate that magic, unfortunately.
DX can't break up. R-Truth's onto something.
You see, he tweeted that Swerve.
To Kofi.
Oh, that Jamal. Yeah, that was great. Jamal sent it over to us. That was fantastic. I still would love one day. You want a Forbidden Door? I want to see R-Truth show up on Collision or something like, my bad, dog. This ain't SmackDown, and just like leave. It would be the funniest thing ever. Like, I wish people could just get their heads out their asses. Tony Khan, just listen. Triple H, just listen. Like, it would be hilarious. Oh yeah, she doesn't count that squash match. That's why she was mad about that. When Jade Cargill squashed Chelsea after Monday After Raw.
Yeah, that doesn't. Did she even get an entrance? No, probably not, because they cut the segment and then decided, oh, we should probably add that back in. The fans are mad. They weren't even gonna have them wrestle.
I'm surprised you haven't
That match
surprised you
doesn't
haven't
exist.
posted the video of that girl who got married and did the Chelsea entrance.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's a bride. She comes into the venue and she does the whole shh, like little swoosh thing that Chelsea does. I'm like, oh, it's the Chelsea. She didn't do the song, but she did the. I'm like, hey, it's the Chelsea Green. I also enjoy too. Someone did a Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns reposted it. Was like instead of like, oh, like congratulations, he goes acknowledged. I'm like, oh, that's freaking so sweet. Like, can you imagine like you do a tribal chief entrance for your wedding, and then Roman Reigns like is I acknowledged it. Like, oh, that would make my day. Like, and that's what's great. Like all the crap these people get. Like some of them behind these characters and behind these personas, they're great people, and I think that's what's funny when people like lose out when they start watching these and they like start shitting on the talents. It's like you realize these are real like guys and girls behind these personas, right?
Jamal, it's not worth fighting me on this one. They were not even gonna have them wrestle, and instead decided to give them a Bianca versus Becky style match at a freaking main event. It was so stupid. It was so stupid. Unnecessary. Just let them showcase. That's all I ask for. Let them have a little bit of a match.
She's a Chelsea. She's a
More
Chelsea
than 30
girl.
seconds in the ring. It doesn't count. It's stupid.
I still want her old music back by Downstate.
Hot mess. I still listen to it. I
know,
also
it's a
still
great
listen to Hosky though.
Hey, it's only 10 years old.
Only.
Jamal, have you ever heard the song Hosky? I have to ask. Because if not, I'm posting the YouTube video because people need to hear it.
I didn't know what it was. It came on one day when I was trying to find some other song.
I put it in your playlist. I knew you'd enjoy it.
No,
Not for any other reason.
I asked Alexa to play me like Matt Cardona's song, and I couldn't think of the name
I
of
was
the
gonna
time.
say I put a bunch of wrestling songs. I definitely put some of those in there. I put some
Yeah.
Joe Hendry ones in there too. But yeah, so I think we're gonna finish up the draft on the couch just because our dog seems to get restless. So I think now's a great time to
I
end
think
the
the
show.
babysitter fell asleep.
I think so as well. So appreciate everyone for coming on and like chatting with us and watching the show with us and listening to us talk about this week in wrestling. And hopefully we have some great episodes coming up for you. Stay tuned. So until next time, I'm Mongo.
Emily, and always keep the kayfabe.